Hey guys, today we're doing a DBD Killer Skill Floor tier list. If you do not know what a skill floor is, the definition will be now on the screen, so pause and read it. Now, I recorded this whole video, but my OBS did not record my microphone, so I will be speeding through this again. Now, Trapper. Before I put Chopper in the nice B tier, because he kind of gets pretty punished by survivors being good, so he's pretty hard to play. But if the survivors play badly, it's not very hard to get results on him. So he's definitely determined by how good are the survivors that he versus. Next, Wraith, I put him in B plus because using his power without just being an M1 killer that sometimes breaks pallets faster is pretty hard, okay? Doing mind games takes some skill, and to get actually play the character, it's pretty hard, okay? To make use of the character. Now, Billy, love you, my Billy mains. S tier, obviously his power is pretty hard to use, and I mean to use the killer as the killer. You can obviously use him as an M1 killer with a good map traverse, and zoning ability, but using his chainsaw is very finicky to learn. Next we have the nurse, and the nurse I put in the comfortable A tier. She is definitely different than all of the other killers, but she's not as punishing, okay? So I put in a comfortable A tier. Now Michael, quick D tier. No need to explain, you just break the pallet, or you just either take the pallet and do a quick loop around the loop, insta-down, or you break the pallet, catch up, then insta-down. There's not much to him. Now, Hug I put in B plus tier, as she is a setup killer, but she can be pretty punished by survivors playing well. So she's kind of in the same boat as Trapper, but it's not as easy to do well against bad survivors, just because she doesn't down you or insta-down you or even injure you with her power. She needs to be pretty close. Also, knowing that the traps have to be close to teleport to them it's just sometimes hard to set up the web for a new player. Next we have the Doctor. I put the Doctor in a comfortable B tier. I have never played the Doctor and have not played against many Doctors, but I feel like his gameplay is just not very punishing. It's just pretty easy to pick up. You kind of need to know loops and where the windows are, but that's not that much, okay? Huntress I placed also in the B tier. There's gonna be a lot of B tier killers in the first row. Just because she doesn't have a reticle, so that's pretty hard, but other ways you can. It's not that hard to get results with Huntress. She zones survivors pretty nicely, she can camp hooks pretty nicely. That's it. Baba I placed in A tier just because his chainsaw and his tantrum, for a new player, he's very hard to pick up. I can tell you that from experience. Now for Freddy, I put him in a, you say it with me, comfortable B tier, just because knowing where to put the pallets and how to zone survivors takes some practice, okay? But you can still use him as a killer just by using your snares or just by using your slowdowns, okay? Now Pig, as one might say, I put in B minus, just because there's not much to her power. She has the traps on the survivors' heads, and she has the dash, but the dash is not very hard to use, especially if they're the buffs, which I love the buffs, but the dash is not that hard to use. I put her next to the clown. The clown is not hard to use, not hard to understand at all. When I was a new player, I loved playing clown. Sadly, he gets bad rep among the survivor mains, the survivor community, I'm sorry. But yeah, the clown is not very hard. Now for Spirit, Spirit gets a nice S tier, completely different game. Just not seeing where survivor is and doing it based off scratch marks, but often also only sounds. That's just hard, man. That's hard to start using. I have big respect for Spirit mains. And lastly, Legion, not much to him. The Citier King. Plague, I put Plague in the comfortable B tier, say it with me, just because you can theoretically play her as an M1 killer with a free injure across the map, but when it comes to using her power, it's pretty finicky, okay? I'm not talking about the skill ceiling here, I'm talking about the skill floor, how hard it is to use the killer effectively. If you're bad at playing, it's very hard to use the power, especially around tall loops. So I'm gonna put her in a comfortable beat here. Maybe, oh, never mind, I forgot! No, she's going into, not gonna lie, at least B+, okay? She's gonna be in B+, not A, just because you can play her as an M1 killer with a freaking shot. But I forgot that you lose your power and you get stunned. That's a very big thing to play around. So B+ it is. And now, Ghostface. I originally put Ghostface as the king of B tier. Trapper, move your ass. Just because it's pretty hard to play him effectively. Just to play him and get... He's a pretty bad killer, okay? He's not very strong. And you can get results with him just by exposing someone on a gen and then killing them if they're not aware. But on a lot of maps, it's just managing the gens and managing the exposures. It's pretty hard. Also, just chasing one person for 60 seconds and getting the down in 60 seconds, it's not that easy, okay? Now, Demogorgon, I put Demogorgon B+ here because he gets punished if he misses his shred. Also, his movement ability can just be simply destroyed by the survivors. Also, the fact that if you mistime his shred, it can just something completely bug out and Demo just dies on the spot. Next, I put Oni in A tier, I believe, yes. Just because the M1 chase before getting the power is super punishing, okay? Legion needs to use M1 chases, but he also can just put people in mend and do stuff like that. Oni cannot. And also knowing when to use his power, when to slag, and how to overall snowball the game, it's pretty hard, especially for a new player. Next, Deathslinger. I put Deathslinger in C tier just because there's not that much to his power. His skill ceiling is very hard, but his skill floor is not. If you played an FPS game and you know how fast the projectile moves, you can utilize this killer pretty okay. Now for Pyramid Head, I put Pyramid Head in the comfortable, a little less comfortable B tier. Just because the power is not that hard to use, he doesn't really have any downsides to him, there's not really map knowledge, there's not really loop knowledge. You can also M to hold, so there's not that much to know on him. Now let's get a Blight. Blight I put in the B+ tier, just because he doesn't really get punished that much, okay? But using his power, especially on tight corridors or doors, if you don't know how bump logic works, is very hard for new players, okay? So I'm putting him in the B tier. He's not that punishing. You can just run brutal and theoretically use the power to catch up to a survivor, okay? Twins, I'm putting in S tier. Now, don't scroll. Twins are very... can get very badly punished if the survivor knows to hold Victor or to kick Victor, especially. That's one thing, but also the map knowledge needed to play Twins is so big, like actually to manage where everyone is slagged and not lose track of people. When I was starting, I'm especially talking about new players here, okay? Because I'm talking about the skill floor. And to manage everybody, I was losing slacks constantly. That's why I quit Twins, obviously. Now, Trickster. I put Trickster in a comfortable B-. He doesn't really get punished that much, but he's also not very strong. He's a pretty okay, well-balanced character. And if you played... I don't know how he is after the rework. You can tell me how you feel about Trickster after the rework in the comments. But if you played an FPS game, you could probably pick him up. Now Nemesis I put in the, say it with me, comfortable B tier, because you can theoretically just play 50s whether they pre-drop the pallet or not, you know? He gets fairly punished by missing his whip, obviously, and going for whips when he shouldn't, so I'm gonna put him in B tier, but he's not as punishing as those characters, okay? Now, Pinhead, I don't know much about Pinhead, so he's going in the, say it with me, comfortable B tier. I'm just not gonna abstain from giving you any opinions about him. Now, Artist, she's going in the B tier because you need to know loops, okay? which is not that hard, okay? But you need to know how to play against loops. She also doesn't really get that punished, okay? You know what? I'm gonna put her in B+ here, just because she actually does get punished by W holding. So knowing loops, that's quite a skill, okay? That's quite a skill. Now, Sadako, I know nothing of, but she doesn't seem like a very hard, excuse me, a very hard killer to pick up. And I've deleted Sadako from, never mind, she's here. She goes in the C tier just because I don't feel like she's very hard to pick up, okay? Now Dredge is in the same boat as Artist, not even gonna lie, but he has a better map drawer, so I'm gonna put him in B tier, okay? Because you can theoretically use him as a map drawer skill. Now, thank you for watching this video if you're still here, and expect the next one probably tomorrow if you're watching this on the day of the release, or you can just scroll up and find the video. So cheers, mates. See you in the next one. Hello guys, welcome in the DBD skill floor killer tier list. If you don't know what a skill floor is, there's a definition on the screen. Pause and read it right now. Now this is the last video, so let's quickly start with Wesker. I put Wesker next to Blight in the B+ tier, just because he gets pretty punished when missing his power, especially if you're not using stuff like the Unicorn Medallion. Unicorn Medallion makes his second dash shorter, so you don't really lose that much distance if they dodge it. But if you're not using the add-on, or God forbid using the recorder, if they dodge your power, you're basically on a net negative. But you can theoretically play him with Brutal, so I'm not putting him next to Baba, okay? Now, Knight. He's a little bit finicky with his power, but I'm gonna be a populist heal here and put him in the C tier. Skull Merchant, she's getting a cozy place next to the Michael. Not that much to playing the killer, just not that much to picking up the killer, okay? Singularity, he gets a nice place in A tier. He's getting demoted to B tier. I'm sorry, I've had some thoughts he's getting demoted to B+ tier. Just because you can theoretically play him as a only chase killer, just because of how strong his chase is, that you get Spirit Fury base kit and Brutal kind of base kit. So that's just where I'm gonna put him. Now, Xenomorph, I know a little purple-haired guy that would agree with me. His name starts with P. But yeah, Xenomorph is going comfortably in the C tier. Yeah, he's like a less punishing Wraith. Nah, he's going in the B tier. Never mind. A little bit up, just because the turrets can mess you up if you're a new player, especially if people stack 2 turrets and you lose your power, so he can be punishing in that sense, but there's not that much to picking up his power, okay? Now, Chucky, where did I put Chucky? Chucky is going in the comfortable B tier, who would have guessed? Just because he gets so much value out of his stealth, okay? Especially against worse survivors, which includes me. I hate playing against Chucky just because of his stealth, not gonna lie. There's not that much to picking up the killer. He gets pretty punished if he misses his slash, but yeah, I think a comfortable B tier is pretty comfortable for the killer. Now let's do the Harmless himself. If you don't know why he's called the Harmless, it's because he's not very good, at least right now. He's going in the B tier because his ways of teleportation can be cleansed, and if you honestly, I was debating putting him in A tier, and I think I'm putting him in A tier, but Singularity and him switched places. Just because if you misuse his power, he's worse than if you M1, actually. And the fact that you can run into him when he holds out the power and he can't really do anything against that. Now Vecna goes in the comfortable B-. There's not that much to picking up the killer. He's not really punished by anything. Maybe if you misuse the hand and pick up pallets, but there's not much more than it. Dracula, same thing for he's going in the C tier. He's a very strong killer, and you can theoretically not even change from the wolf form and get results with him. As a new killer, this is a very good killer for you. On the Houndmaster, I can't really say match, just because I haven't played against her. Match, I haven't played with her. Match. So I'm putting her in the B- tier just because misusing the dog and using two, attacks and missing him kind of inhibits you, but her power cooldown is so short, she's going in the C tier. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Love to all my Hound Masterminds. Now Kaneki, I think he gets... I know you wanna see him in the D tier. Oh, I know you wanna see it. Oh, I know you wanna see it, but he's going in the C tier. Now don't scroll, okay? This is just because his power is kind of finicky to use, okay? I've known a lot of newer players that are just getting into DBD and using Kaneki, especially trying to utilize his power around loops that you cannot utilize it around. It's a bit punishing, but I know I'm gonna be a populist. I'm gonna put him in the C tier, okay? He's not that hard to get results with just because he's pretty strong. Springtrap is getting the last comfortable place in the B tier. Say it with me, the comfortable B tier. Just because he has one projectile and one chance to injure the person, he has a very good map traverse. Not very good, pretty good map traverse. But yeah, he's getting a comfortable place here, and on those two killers I do not have opinions. Okay, maybe on Vecna, okay? Vecna is going in the B tier. Just because I have a close to me person that is pretty bad at DBD, okay? I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. And they're getting big value out of this killer. Even though he's hard to think about using his power, okay? Just because missing your power is not very punishing, I'm gonna put him in the B tier. So that would be it. If you enjoyed the series, please leave a comment. Especially if you have an idea for another tier list, maybe skill ceiling, or overall enjoyment of the killer, or how fun they are to play against or with. So yeah, bye.